Thanks for your company with me from Melbourne now. Liberal frontbencher Senator Mitch Fifield and Labor MP Andrew Leigh here in the Canberra studio. Andrew Leigh, a promotion for you today? Can we expect one?
Kieran, I'll always be promoting the Labor Party's great policies, and that's the job of a backbencher. I'll be out there.
With the reshuffle, you're being discussed as a possible
These are all the
candidate?
matters for the Prime Minister, and she'll announce them when she's ready to do so.
And you'll be happy to take on a few additional responsibilities if called upon?
My feeling is if you're elected as a Labor member, the Prime Minister asks you to do something, you do it. But also serving the people of Fraser is a pretty much a full-time job. I've got either the most or the second most populous electorate in Australia, so keeps me busy as getting around to the community functions.
All right. OK. Anthony Albanese is not only going to retain his job, but he's going to be promoted to take the regional development portfolio from the Simon Crean area. Is that an olive branch to those that were Rudd supporters?
I've certainly heard those rumours around. I haven't seen anything confirmed. My general view of Anthony Albanese...
It has been confirmed to me this morning. It was revealed by Laurie Oakes a bit earlier. It's been confirmed to me separately. OK,
you have your sources. I will wait for the Prime Minister to make these announcements. I've known Anthony Albanese for 20 years, and he's a stalwart of the Labor movement, somebody who's passionate about his portfolio and also about the Labor cause.
But is it important not to have any more retribution? We saw the bloodletting on Friday. That was seen as, I suppose, inevitable with some ministers going, but is it important now to not have any further retribution or fallout?
Look, if it is, assuming it's true that Anthony Albanese is staying, as I would fully expect, I think that's a great thing. If I've heard him once, I've heard him say 1,000 times that this government has invested twice as much in roads as the previous government, 4 times as much in rail, and as much in urban public transport as every government since Federation combined. And that's testament to his hard work in that portfolio and his passion for policy.
Senator Fifield this does give the Prime Minister some clear air finally. The Rudd factor's been dealt with. He says he won't return to the leadership under any circumstances, and it gives her the opportunity to have a tighter, more disciplined unit.
I can't see how the Prime Minister has any clear air at all. We've seen one of the greatest debacles that any government has presided over in the last week. I can't see, just coming back to Anthony Albanese, how he can possibly retain his job. I'd feel pretty cheesed off, I think, if I was Simon Crean. His great sin in all this was to be upfront, to be open, to share with the Australian people the true state of this government. We've had Anthony Albanese, who on the floor of the Parliament counts the numbers to try and keep Julia Gillard as Prime Minister, but when he's outside the chamber, he helps to count the numbers to try and knock her off as Prime Minister. How he can be there on the floor of the House of Representatives as the face of the government, as the face of stability, as the face of unity, is a joke. Kieran, we're 50 days out from the next budget.
But Senator Fifield, you've got to admit, though, that on the coalition side, it's not all love and goodwill, is it either? And you know that there have been contests had, and there are different personalities that don't get on the coalition side. That's just the reality of politics. And John Howard and Peter Costello had a good government for more than a decade, and they weren't the best of friends from memory.
Well, you don't have to be close, you don't have to be the best of friends, but what you have to be is professional, and what you have to do each and every day you're in government is focus on the people's business rather than your own business. We never saw a single leadership challenge when John Howard was Prime Minister. We never saw anything even come close to that. Yet we've had Kevin Rudd knocked off as Prime Minister. We've had a few attempts to knock Julia Gillard off as Prime Minister. We've had the only adults in this cabinet, in Simon Crean, Chris Bowen and Martin Ferguson, pull the pin. We've had them deliver a devastating critique of this government. Kieran, I've got to disagree. I don't think that leads to clear air.
All right. Your thoughts on that, Andrew, your response, because that Senator Fifield obviously isn't on his own, and it has been such a debacle the last few days. Has it done irreparable damage.
Yeah, Kieran, I think Mitch is absolutely right that the job of politics is focusing on the people that put you in Parliament, and what you've seen from this government and what you're going to see is our focus on talking about reforms. We put a price on carbon pollution not because it was politically easy to do so, but because we realised it was the best way of dealing with climate change. We're building the national broadband network because you need to put in place 21st century infrastructure.
But beyond those policies that you talk about, there's a philosophical battle within the Labor Party right now as to where it's going. We saw Martin Ferguson, Simon Crean expressing the views of what's understood to be the feeling among many in the Labor Party that the class warfare, the division, that sort of rhetoric is just antiquated, that you need to return to the Hawke-Keating era reforms and focus of targeting the middle ground. Do you sympathise with that view?
Kieran, the Labor Party is the party of ideas, and so it's not for us to be bomb-throwing and engaging in negativity. You will see discussions about the nation's future being carried out much more seriously in the Labor Party. You know, I've made a small contribution to that in arguing that the small L liberalism legacy is naturally one that lies to Labor, now that the opposition has become parties that essentially are just conservatives who want to say no to absolutely everything. But the big difference in Australian politics is between the parties. It's between the knockers and wreckers and the opposition and the builders and on my side of Parliament. And so when we're talking about the National Disability Insurance Scheme, it's a measure which I'm pleased to see the opposition has supported. And I suspect Senator Fifield had a key role in that. But this never would have come about under a coalition government. This is a core Labor reform. Disability Care Australia will leave Australia far better off.
I've been advised that Jason Clare is also going to be promoted to Cabinet today, the first time that the Minister for Justice portfolio has had full Cabinet status. Do you welcome that?
Jason's a great parliamentary performer, somebody who cares deeply about his portfolio. He's also, I think, one of the best storytellers in the federal parliament, and I think he's the only person I've heard who's answered a question in question time and just told a story. It was a lovely tale about a helicopter coming down to rescue an elderly woman during the floods. So Jason's ability to connect with people, I mean, that's one of the things that comes back to me so often when I'm in my electorate talking to locals.
Okay, Senator Fifield, so this is the Prime Minister's chance today to put forward her election team. Is it now the challenge for the coalition to maintain the discipline? Is that your key focus? What are the risks involved here for the coalition, given how far ahead you are in the polls and the shambles that we've seen from the Labor Party over recent days?
Well, Kieran, we'll continue to maintain discipline. We'll continue to be focused on the people's business, and we'll continue to articulate our positive plan for the nation, which starts with abolishing the carbon tax, abolishing the mining tax, putting local control on hospital boards, making sure that we have schools that are locally controlled. We've got a big agenda. We want to retire the debt. We want to help government get back to living within its means. We want to reduce a $1 billion burden in terms of red tape from small business. So we've got a strong plan. We're going to keep talking about that plan. We know what the government is going to do in contrast. They're going to keep talking about themselves, and it doesn't matter if the Prime Minister brings in people like Andrew Leigh, who is someone of ability. We're still going to have the problem that we have a Prime Minister who can't be trusted, who tells lies to the Australian people. We're still going to have a Treasurer who can't balance a budget, and we're going to have in Stephen Conroy a Communications Minister who cannot roll out a fast broadband network for the nation. So as long as you've got Conroy, Swan and Julia Gillard at the helm of this government, they're going to have big problems, and the Australian people aren't going to get the quality of government that they deserve.
Senator Mitch Fifield and Labor MP Andrew Leigh, possibly Labor frontbencher, we'll see a bit later this morning. Thank you very much for that.